training that will surely help our students to be able to adequately prepare themselves for the world of work. And for those who are interested in venturing into entrepreneurship, the series of trainings we're going to enjoy under the Skills Up for Job will help us to be able to adequately prepare ourselves to be able to handle our entrepreneurship dreams and entrepreneurship ventures. Last time we met, it was a great meeting. We had a lot of people indicating that they enjoyed the session, and today promises to be better. And I want you all to tell your friends who have not yet joined to join us so that we can have the numbers, and then of course we'll be able to make the required impact. We have our speaker already on board, and then we have the leadership of Jen also available. So what we'll do is that we'll take some few remarks from Jen director, Stephen Jesikwa, who will then give us his initial comments as we start today's concept or today's seminar on ideation and business model canvas. Stephen, if you can hear me, kindly let's hear some few remarks from you and we can set the ball rolling. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you all students for coming up today. Not to take too much of your time, we want to say we appreciate you all for making that deliberate effort to join this webinar series. As I said in the earlier webinar, that this is a series that is ongoing before the main practical skills training. And I want to still encourage everybody to really take these things very, very serious about it, because the content and information that you are getting is really, really very valuable and priceless knowledge that you are going to have. And we want to still continue to encourage you to get your colleagues to be involved. It doesn't matter whether for the webinars, like we said earlier, it doesn't matter whether you have actually registered for this practical skills training, which is going to come up in October. Anybody at the University of Ghana can join this webinar series. So maybe when we finish, we will also encourage you to wait so that we can take some feedbacks. We can have some engagement with you to discuss the following section and get some feedback to see how best we can make these webinars, very effective for your own good. We want to take this opportunity as on behalf of Jen and also on behalf of the SRC, who has partnered with us to bring this project to your school for the benefit of the students to make this happen. We want to thank them all and any supporting partner who is contributing as well to make this possible. So we wish you all the best in this session, and welcome on Mama Sewa for making it a point and with your valuable time to come and share your wealth of knowledge with this student. So we can't wait to listen to what you have for us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much. And before I introduce our main speaker or facilitator for this session, just to let you know, what we'll do is that the speaker will have about an hour to be able to do her presentation for us, and then we'll have about 30 minutes for Q&A. But what it is that once you have a question up, you can kindly put it in the chat room so that when it gets to the Q&A, we'll be able to take the questions. Again, the speaker is totally at liberty to decide how she wants to run her session. So if she believes that after a presentation or after a few minutes into a presentation, she would like to take some questions or to interact with us, it is absolutely open to the discretion of our facilitator. So with that said and done, let me quickly introduce our facilitator for today. Mame Sewa Amwakuhene is a dynamic individual who's passionate about identity discovery and personal transformation. With over 8 years of dedicated experience, she has helped countless individuals uncover their authentic selves and create fulfilling lives. Through her flagship program, Finding the Person Called Me, Mame Sewa has pioneered a unique approach to self-discovery and personal growth. Beyond individual transformation, Mame Sewa is also a seasoned social entrepreneur and business consultant. As the director of 3Ps, Purpose, Product, Persistence, she guides organizations to align their actions with their core purpose, building impactful products, and developing sustainable strategies. Her unique blend of personal development expertise and business acumen enables her to provide a holistic approach to leadership development and organizational growth. Mame Sewa's work is grounded in the belief that when individuals are aligned with their true selves, they are better equipped to contribute to the success of the organizations. Through her programs and consulting services, Mami Sewa inspires individuals and organizations to unlock their full potential, create lasting impact, and live a life of purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us all to warmly welcome Mami Sewa Amwakuhene to take us through today's presentation. Mami, you are warmly welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh,
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Mami. We can hear you.
Wonderful. Mute your internet. Okay. Let's see. It looks like the video, Pope, can you help me with the video? It says you can't start your video. The host has stopped it. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well and you're having a lovely afternoon. I really appreciate everybody for making time this afternoon, and I am hoping we're going to have a wonderful session. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So it looks like my video is not working, so I'm just going to go ahead with the presentation. I do apologize if you guys are unable to see me. Hopefully we can be able to get that addressed. Nonetheless, so who is Mami Sewa and why am I here speaking with you guys this afternoon? Let me share a little bit about my background and my story and why I'm so crazy about businesses and especially this topic, ideation and business modeling. So I actually had the privilege of being born into an entrepreneurial family. So both grandfathers and grandmothers and everybody, in fact, the whole entire family, business family. My business or entrepreneurial journey actually started way back when I was in secondary school. That was back in the day when we were having the O levels. And I actually, in school, I was, let's say, an artist. And so I created Valentine's Day cards. And unlike the nice Valentine's Day cards, my Valentine's Day cards were not the nice type. However, I was a bit mischievous. I was having way too much fun making these Valentine cards. And then the next idea was, well, why don't I sell these Valentine cards? Nonetheless, because they were a bit of a mischievous Valentine Day cards, I got rebuked regarding my new venture. And so that kind of put a stop to that. And after secondary school, my next venture again was Valentine's Day. And imagine at that time, I was about 16 years old doing this. I went to the corner store and asked the gentleman that was selling cards. And I said, why don't you give me some of your cards so I can take it to school? Because when you have your cards in the shop, nobody gets to see it except those that come in your shop. Strangely enough, this fellow agreed and gave me these cards so that I can go sell in school. Now, here's the thing. For me, it was the excitement of the fact that I am doing some small on the side. But the other part of it was I did not even know how to manage the money. What I was able to do was I was able to sell all the cards and I was able to pay for it. But what happened to the rest of the money, I have no idea. And that was my business journey at the age of 16. I went into various different ventures, selling things. At one point, I was distributing salad dressing to the school, distributing notebooks to the school. And again, it was all the excitement of me doing quote unquote business. Now, fast forward years later, I'm done with college. And the question is, what do you do? Now, here's something that's very interesting. When I was in college, one of the things, and I remember vividly, the last class that I did, it says how to get noticed. The focus of the whole entire class was actually how to get a job. I no longer was thinking about how to do business on my own. It was all about how do I get a job. And so when I left school with just one thing on mind: how to get a job. How do I stand out? Because my degree was in advertising and graphic design. So I was just looking for something in advertising. It was actually a friend that said, how come all of a sudden you are no longer doing any of the things you used to do in the past, but you're so bent on getting a job? Now, there's nothing wrong with employment. Please don't get me wrong. Employment is awesome. You get stable income. However, your entrepreneur journey, if you're not careful, can also be overlooked. Why am I sharing this with you? What I realize is that a lot of times, the things that we do, the things that we're passionate about, it's a business opportunity in it. But sometimes we overlook it because we're so focused on having that stable, secure job. My goal for today is to take you guys on a journey as to how you can start your business if you're considering that. And then also what you can do. Hey, the video is working so you can see me. What you can do in building your business idea. So this is a little bit about who I am and why I'm so passionate about. So our agenda for today is how to come up with a business idea and how to build out that idea. And if you have a business, how to also bring in structures to it. So without much ado, let's get into the presentation. So I do prefer a very interactive presentation. So the first question I have over here is, where are you currently? So on there, I have, which do you currently have? So if you have a business, put it in the chat that I have a business. If you have a business idea, put it in the chat that you have a business idea. If you're running your business, put it in the chat that you're running a business. I would like to know where people are so that we can get really going on this. This will also help me be able to kind of skewed the presentation. So I see a lot of business ideas. I'm running a business ideas. Okay. Oh, so we almost like 50-50. Say I have a business idea that I wrote. Okay. So if you have a business idea, is it just in the idea stage or have you progressed a little bit? Let me know from you guys, okay? Okay, so let's go on with and thank you so very much for responding. Let's see. Okay, so I can say it's about 50-50. Okay, so first question, what is an idea? Now, if you have a suggestion as to what you think an idea is, please put it in the chat. But I want us to take a deeper look as to what it is about an idea. What I realize is that when you have a better understanding of words, it actually helps make it stick better. So this is a definition that I found. It says, it's a thought or a suggestion as to a possible course of action, a concept or a mental impression, an opinion or a belief. It says the idea is the aim or purpose of something. So what do you think? Have you ever thought about this? Now, I highlighted two things, a thought or a suggestion. A lot of times, an idea is simply that. Sometimes I think we get stuck and was like, oh, I need a huge idea. I had somebody send me a message saying, what kind of business idea should they get into if they had a certain amount of money? And I'm like, look, I can't help you on that one because I can tell you so many different things. But at the end of the day, it's all about you. So think about the conversations you've been having with people. Sometimes somebody comes to you with complaints. And believe it or not, that complaint holds so much value. But a lot of times we just look at it as, oh, it's just this person complaining. So let's be mindful when people complain because it could be your next big idea. So what makes a good idea? I'm sure you're wondering what about this. So I have this idea that, and a lot of people shared that they have business ideas. You can also put in the chat what those business ideas are if you feel very comfortable with that. So let's take a look at your business idea. Let's see how best we can rate the business idea. I am hoping that by the time I'm done with this presentation, you will be able to analyze your business idea and see, really, is this something worthwhile or do I need to tweak it a little bit? Okay. And so I'm not here to discourage anyone, but I want us to be realistic with our business idea. Are we all good? So the first thing that we look at is opportunity. So what is opportunity? The first thing about the business idea is you need to check that idea for opportunity. So let's take a look. The question are, what situations, challenges, issues, or headaches have you identified? So you're talking with your friends, you're talking with your mates, and they are, like I said, they are complaining about things. They just are ready to blow their head up. That, as I said, is business opportunity. The next one, why or what is causing this issue? Very critical. So somebody comes to you and says, look, I'm unable to find this thing. Take your time and ask why and what is it? And then the last one is, it's an issue that needs solving. So over there, we have a little cartoon character over there, and it's a wall. So the obvious solution is the person needs a ladder if they want to climb over it. Could that have been a business idea, selling ladders to people? So I want you to write in the chat, what are some of the situations, challenges, issues, or headaches that people have been coming to you, or something that you have identified in your school or around you? There's a young lady that I met, and her story is so beautiful. And I do believe she said she went to also University of Ghana, if my memory serves me right. And she said while she was in class, she was selling sachet water. She would take her ice chest, go to class, and sell it. And after that, she started adding little things because people started asking her for stuff. Something as simple as water, sachet water in class. You may be looking at it and thinking, oh, Charlie Masa, this is sachet water. But trust me, today, she has upgraded. She's still selling stuff. The last time I received a message from her, I think she was selling office furniture. Something that started sachet water in her classroom. What are the things that you've identified? Number 2, market validation. Let me take a look. Okay, so I see agriculture, farming, misinformation and communication with customers. Oh, yes. Data bundle. Oh, absolutely. Actually, I had a former colleague that was selling biscuits to us in the office, and she's still selling biscuits. We actually titled it Little Ventures. So little things that we take for granted, but they can be big, big opportunities. So now let's jump to hostels being too expensive. There you go. So what can you do about it? Is this something really worth solving? So you've identified this problem. Now, market validation, or what we call market fit. Now, that is something extremely important because we as business people, we have all these beautiful ideas, and sometimes we get stuck on these ideas. And the challenge is, can we go out and really validate their ideas? Can we go out and check to see if there's really a market fit for it? So this is a very vital thing. And I noticed that a lot of times people actually skip this key step, market validation. So what is it? It is objectively showing that there is a real customer pain. I want to slow down over here because this is very, very important. A lot of businesses, especially in this new era of tech and app development and all kinds of stuff. The question is there a real customer pain? That the market is sized properly and that people would pay for you, will pay you for your solutions. So number 1, there's a real pain. Number 2, the market size is properly and that people are willing to pay for the solution. Now, I'm sure you're saying, how can I be able to check the market size? Please, you on Google, now we have what ChatGPT, all those different things. There's information, believe it or not, if you push and you check, you'll be able to find it. But not just only going on Google to check these things, but physically going out there. So I saw somebody put a chat saying that hostels are expensive. So hostels are expensive. You can go out there and talk to the number of people that can confirm that indeed hostels are expensive and how much are they willing to pay for. This is information gathering. And believe it or not, that is one key thing that makes or breaks a business. Being out there and talking to actual people. If you can do your Google search, but at the end of the day, go out there and do it. And this is what I call your reality check. It says no matter how brilliant the entrepreneur is, it is the customer who chooses what product they will purchase. Talk to customers and talk to a lot of them. And when I say a lot of them, I'm talking if you can get hundreds of people, if you can do a survey, do a survey. Because at the end of the day, you will have a beautiful solution, but it is the customer. And again, I can't stress this enough. It's pain of the customer. You can have the similar pain, but you're like, okay, this hurts me. How many people out there agree with me that this actually hurts me? You know, there's a saying that says that if your solution is a hammer, every problem is a nail. That is one trap that we find ourselves in as entrepreneurs. So now to break that, doing this reality check, doing market validations is vital. And that is a key step. Now, the last step I have is, why do you care? Why do you care? Now, this is a question that a lot of people will be like, but Charlie, I'm just doing my business. And Charlie, I just need to make some money. So why am I even asking that? Remember, in my introduction, part of it was said that I came to realize that when people understand why they're doing things, it makes a difference. 3 o'clock in the morning, would you wake up to go and do this business as opposed to you just chasing the Benjamins, chasing the dollars, chasing the CDs? It makes a whole lot of difference. If you've never, ever asked yourself this question, why do I care? I want you to answer this. Why do I care? So here's a question for the audience. What do you see around you that breaks your heart? What do you see around you that breaks your heart? I want to pause for a few minutes and I want to see what kind of responses people gave me. What do you see around you that breaks your heart? So we take about 2 minutes and see what kind of responses that we get. And this is relating to the question as to why do you care? So let's take a look in our chat and see what we have. And if you have any questions regarding what I'm saying, please feel free to interrupt or put in the Q&A session and I'll pick it up. Okay, so I have extreme poverty, water pollution, high cost of living in demand, economic mismanagement, inflation, mental ill people. Yes, I noticed there was a high increase of sorry to say, mad people on the streets lately. And I was wondering why. Plastic waste, cost of healthcare. Eesh, child, that's major. That's major. Environmental retardation. Yes, child, serious. Thank you guys really for sharing. Now, before I go to the idea check, let's make the link between what is breaking your heart and your business idea. Okay. Now we talked about the business idea being a pain. It could start from you. And that's why I'm asking what breaks your heart. So what breaks your heart, because it is something that is really personal to you, is near and dear to you. When you take that passion, if you recall, I just had passion for connecting things. And that was the fun around it. And I kept on doing it because I had the passion for it. Same thing. Imagine if you actually build a business around what is breaking your heart. So you have noticed a pain, you look at your own personal stuff and you're like, you know what? This is not something that I've just identified, but really, really, truly, this thing is near and dear to me. So I want to take that step. And if you can marry those two together, then you're on the winning team. So I hope that really helps. Let's see. And please feel free to put in the chat any comments regarding that, being able to link what is breaking your heart and the business idea or the business that you currently running. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to put it in the chat. So now let's take a look at how you can rate your business idea. And so I want you guys take pen and paper Write down a brief description of your business idea, and we're going to use these key points to score ourselves. And you're being really honest and checking. So number one, does it address a real obvious pain in the market? So this one there is either yes or no. They be ein. Market pain is something that bothers somebody enough that they are willing to spend money on the problem to make it go away. It must have, it is a must have rather than a nice to have. And that's something that you want, people are willing to pay for it. If you talk about a person's pain, if it's like, if somebody is thirsty and you give them food, they're going to reject the food because it is thirst they want. So either water, Coke, whatever, anything liquid, because the person is thirsty, they're parched, they're not looking for food. So the same thing with your business idea or the business that you're running. Is it really a pain that somebody is like, look, take this headache away from me. Whatever it is that you're asking, take it away. I will pay it. That's a great business idea. So you give yourself a 1, if that is, if you can honestly say, yes, this business that I have is a real pain. Number 2, be something that you are knowledgeable about. So you have knowledge about it, you have passion about it, you have the skill set about it. Now, remember I said my entrepreneurial journey started when I was in secondary school. I was an artist. So I was drawing these Valentine cards, and from drawing Valentine cards, now going to sell Valentine cards. It started from that. So what is it that you are knowledgeable about? When I first, after graduating, I decided to start another business venture. And that again started out, it was a marketing and a design firm, because that was what I knew. That was what I was knowledgeable about. That's what I worked in the industry. I had skill sets in it. So I did what I knew, knowledgeable about it. But here is the caveat to it. Knowledge and business is not the same thing. And when we get into business modeling, I hope you understand it, because that was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. I was excited when I started this business venture. It was 3 P's graphical solutions. It was print, package, and photography. These were all the things I was most passionate about. But I did not know business as business. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know how to scale a business. I was clueless of business, but I knew what I knew, which was what to do, which is designing marketing. So I want you guys to, if you can remember anything, there are 2 different things. There's a business of doing what it is you're doing, and there's a business as a business. Now, the third one is representing a new approach to an existing business process, ideally by applying technology in a new way. Now, let's be honest. This I see over and over again. Kojo Mensah down the street is doing something. You see it, it's like, hey, Kojo Mensah's business is going well, so me too, I'll start it. And then we start. So we just do copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. But if you can take a look at Kojo Mensah's business and say, okay, this is what Kojo Mensah is doing, is working. What can I do that will improve the business? What can I do that will be a new approach, something different, something innovative, something creative, rather than the copy and paste, copy and paste. So you see down the street, everybody's doing the same thing. And we wonder, so let's challenge ourselves. The business that you're running, honestly ask yourself, is it a new approach or is it the same thing that everybody is doing? Number 4, are people already spending money on the problem? Now, really ask yourself, because if people are already spending money on that problem, then you have something going. And here's the thing that sometimes, okay, somebody says, please explain number 3 again. Oh, absolutely. So number 3 says, represent a new approach to an existing business process, ideally by applying technology in a new way. So what it simply means, when you look, a lot of times you see people just copy and paste businesses. They see somebody doing this and then they go and do the exact same thing. I'm challenging us and I'm saying, whatever business idea that you have that you're looking at, ask yourself, is there a better way? Is there a different way? Is there a more innovative way? Is there a creative way that you can approach the business? Charlie Dave, I better go. Bro, from the door, so you be from kakra. Thanks. So that's what it is. So looking at business and looking at it at from a different angle, from a different approach. Let's not do the same thing over and over again. You see, China made. But Charlie, that's all it is. Copy, clone. Can we stop that? Can we challenge ourselves to do more? Let's look at things from a different perspective. They are laughing at my tree. Share, Charlie, between the world class. So does it basically mean branding your business and adding value to the existing one? It goes beyond branding. Think about it in terms of value addition, because branding is how you actually present yourself. So for instance, water, Slim Fit, Belacqua, whatever, they are all still water. Okay, so everybody's producing water. Now you can come into the market and say, other than just producing water, what else can I do? It's no coincidence that Belacqua came out with Bell Active. It's still water, but it has slightly different minerals or slightly different sweetness to it. So that in a way is able to create something totally different, something unique. What I'm challenging us to do is let's not just do copy and paste. Let's go beyond the copy and paste. Look at the whole entire business and break it. And again, this is business processes. So business process as to how the business is done. Okay, how do they do business? For instance, even the delivery of the water, how is it done currently? And can you improve upon it? So think about value and how you can add value to it. Okay, I like the way you guys, your questions are coming up. This is, does it basically, so I've asked it, does it, please, what about when you take a business idea and others start crushing it by starting the same business? So yes, it's about innovation. So here's the thing about, if you see somebody crushing your business, the thing about business is that idea, that passion that you have, nobody else can do it like you. And that's why it's very, very important that you understand even your own personal self. What is driving you to do that business? Because if you understand what is driving you, if you take what it is that is breaking your heart, then you know that you're not just doing the business just for business sake, but this is actually your own, what I call your own personal cross. Because the depth of which you understand it, others don't even get it. And that is really how you're able to set yourself apart. So I have developed a unique way that improves the old ways. Absolutely. What value do you bring to the table? Absolutely. Yes. Please, how do I start a business with no funds? So please put that in the Q&A sessions and I'll see if I can touch basis on it. This presentation doesn't necessarily cover funding, but if you put it in there and if we have time, I'll see if I can address it, okay? All right, so number 4 says, okay, so I already talked about people spending money on it. And the last one is have a possible revenue stream. Okay, so this is, when it talks about have a possible revenue stream, it's about income. It's about how you're going to make money. Now, here is my little red flags and all of that. A lot of people go in there trying to make quick money. If that is what it is, then Charlie, that is what it is. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I'm here to challenge you to go beyond the quick money, beyond the quick fix. Okay. And I'll leave it at that one. So how did you do with your score? And any additional questions regarding that? So let me bring the questions back up. So there were 5 questions. And if you scored yourself 1 point for each, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many got 5 over 5? Or let's be honest and see what you scored in there. So let's take a couple of minutes and let's see. Oh, Felicia says she had a 5. Plus says they have a 3, so 3 over 5, 4. Hey, Chama Bimsa, 4. Hey, That's nice. 2, okay. Let's see, we have 2 with some zeros, and don't worry, those zeros will turn into serious dollars, grapple. 4, okay. So I like that. So again, I hope these questions were able to really help you understand what, 1, a business is, 2, how you can actually check to make sure that this business is, oh, I have Prosper giving us a 5. No, Machete gave us a 5. Prosper is a 4/5. Great. So again, just to recap, when it comes to ideation is just a thought or an observation. However, thoughts and observations need to be tested in order to make sure it's a viable, good business idea. And I'm hoping that these questions helped you guys to be able to rate it. And I love the ratings that I'm seeing with this. So questions, that says, I just joined and asked the question, so I didn't really get what you're talking about. So I will ask you to check with one of your friends to go back, because that will be a long way back. Businesses goes beyond just their monetary value, but the potential of the solution to the identified problem. Thank you. Thank you as well. Enjoying the sessions. Thank you, Felicia. Okay, so let's continue to our next session, business model canvas. So same way we started, have you ever heard of business model canvas, BMC? So in your chat, please choose one, say yes, I have, or no, this is my first time ever hearing about business model canvas. Okay, so Julius, you said 1, so no, no. Okay. Listen, no, 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 yes, yes. So I have mostly no's. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. No, this is your first time. Yes, you guys made my day. So Felicia, yes. So Felicia, you're gonna help me with this. Let me take a sip of water. And we get going. Okay. So since this is first for a lot of people, I'm really going to take my time and really break down as to what business model canvas is really all about. And believe me, it's not a scary thing. It's really simple. So here's the definition. What is a business model canvas? It's a single page template used to outline the goals and objectives of a business. Full stop, plain and simple, boom. And I don't know. It's a single page document. Now, imagine this. Business plans. If you go to the bank and all of those, and most of the programs, we're always talking about you need a business plan, business plan, business plan, business plan. There's nothing wrong with business plans. It helps you be able to process the whole entire business. However, especially for someone that is starting out, you need to be able to analyze your business. You need to be able to really understand quickly, be able to validate, be able to prototype your business and test your business. And that's how business model canvas really came about. It's a single page that challenges you to look at your business in so many different various components. Now, these are the very key components that helps to make a business. So we're talking about the structures of the business. Remember the story when I said, when I started my business, I knew the business of what I was doing, which was designing, marketing, advertising. That is it. But the business of business, which is growing a business, scaling a business, building a business, there were 2 different things. The easiest way I want you to remember is working in a business and working on a business. I'm going to say it again, working in a business and working on a business. Those are 2 different things. Working in the business is the business of what it is that you do. Working on the business is all the activities that you do to build an actual business. They are 2 different animals. And you need to be very honest with yourself, because that can make or break a business. That is what takes a business from ground zero to 100. And a lot of us struggle with that because we are unable to. And it's even harder because you don't even know where to go to get the help And then you're looking at, I don't have money to even pay. So how do I? So the challenges here is real. And so I commend you for everybody that is actually looking at starting a business. Please, can we have the presentation slides after this section? I will have a conversation. These are private, prioritized information, so we'll check it out, okay? Visualize model of a business targets and objectives, correct. Okay, so the business model canvas can help owners and other stakeholders develop new business models or evaluate existing models. Again, this is a way of you looking at your business from a high level and looking at all the various different components. Like I said, there's a difference between working in the business and working on a business. And that's what business model canvas helps you to be able to do, really very objectively. Keyword, objectively. Sometimes we get our emotions all caught up and, you know, you hold it tight, but this is where you have to step aside, put on the executive cap and look at your business very objectively. I hope that really helps, kind of clarifies as to what a business model canvas is. Now, why would you need to look at your business from that angle? Okay, cool. All right. So the reason why you need to look at it is, Charlie, we want our businesses to grow. And the only way your business can grow is when you can really step away from getting all caught up in all the emotional stuff and look at it from this objective perspective. And that's what it is. And because it's just a single page, it challenges you to look at your business in various different segments. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look at various different model canvases. There are different types, and it helps to be able to understand that. So the first one I'm going to show you guys is the standard business model canvas. And again, you can go online. So is the business model canvas the same as a business plan? No, it's not. However, think about it as it is a condensed one-page business plan. That's the shortest way I can describe it. It is a one-page business plan. Well, now, when you're putting together a business plan, these components on the business model canvas can assist you and make it very, very seamless in creating a business plan. So you can use the business model canvas as your starting point in order to build out a full entire business plan. I hope that helps. So again, the business model canvas, its essence is to help you, and let me pull it back again, is really to help you look at your business from a very objective point of view as to what the goals are, what the objective of the business is. How do you evaluate your business? Okay, so it's, I want to do this business. Okay, if you want to do this business, the regular one says, who are your key partners? What are the key activities? Now, what I'm going to do is introduce you to the concept of the business model canvas. I highly encourage you. On this call, I'm not going to go into in-depth details with it, but I want you to understand the concept behind business model canvas and how you can use it in your current state. So we've talked about a business idea. Now you take that business idea, you've confirmed, because most people had 4s and 5s. Now you've confirmed it's a viable business idea. Now we want to check that idea to see if their idea can be broken into all these different things. And when you look at these different components, they actually will help you in building and structuring the business itself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So this is the first standard business model canvas that was created. I cannot remember the name of the gentleman, and please do not ask me. I highly say go Google it. But what makes the key thing about business model canvas is the framework, and the framework stays the same. So you will see various different models out there, but the framework will always be the same. The things that change will actually just be the components in it, okay? And so we have your key partners. So your key partners is who are your key partners, your suppliers and all those. You have key activities. Key activities is what you're doing. Key resources, the key resources is what do you require, and also your revenue streams. Then you have value propositions. Value proposition is really what makes you separate. What is it that the customers are looking for? And then you have customers relationship, which is relationship with your customer. And you have channels. channels is how you're going to reach your customers. And then customer segments, pardon me. So customer segments is being able to put together various different segments for your customers, because not all your customers, then not everybody can be your customer. So it's very important to understand customer segments. And then on the bottom, you have cost structure, how you're going to pay for stuff. Then you have revenue streams, is how you're going to generate the funds for your business. So this is the first one, which is the basic business model canvas. Now, another gentleman later said, okay, this one seems to fit more with folks that have existing business and have a lot. So he came up with what is called the lean model canvas. And the lean model canvas tries to simplify what the previous one did. So you notice that the words are a little simpler. So you have a problem. So it's like, list your customer's problem. Now, the advantage of the lean model canvas is that it really helps for startups, individuals that are looking how best they can build and structure a business. Whereas the regular business model canvas was a bit more in depth. So when they talk about key, let's go back, it's like key partners. Yeah, like I must have, who's my key partner? I don't even know. So key partners, think about key partners in terms of problem. So what is the problem? What is the existing alternative? And then the next one is solutions. So it's problem solutions, and then key metrics. Key metrics is how can you tell if you're doing business? So it's like doing business by numbers. If you've never heard this phrase, doing business by numbers, I highly encourage you to Google that, because that also makes us shift from just being emotional to being objective. So it says, can the technical team enable the Q&A session so we can start putting questions? Oh, absolutely. Technical team, could you please make sure you enable the Q&A? And then the middle column, we have unique value proposition, which is what sets you apart clearly. Okay, what makes you totally different? And then unfair advantage, something that nobody can copy. So there was a question that came in earlier about people crushing it. That's where your unfair advantage is. Now, that is where you can keep it as a trade secret, priority information. That's what really sets you apart from everybody else. And it's something that cannot easily be copied. Then you have channels. Channels is how you're going to get to your customers. Again, they have the customer segment, and then early adapters. Early adapters simply means those that are quick to actually sign on with your business. They kept the bottom part the same, cost structure, and then revenue structure. So these two canvases are online. You can Google it and read more about it. Now, the last canvas I'm going to share with you is actually my personal canvas that I designed. And this was as a result of working, strangely enough, it was with UG students. So I was invited to do a presentation on ideation, and somebody else actually did a presentation on the business model canvas. And what I quickly noticed was that there was a disconnect between ideation and business model canvas. And so this is how I challenged myself to actually come up with a canvas that actually challenges and helps individuals, especially startups, be able to take their business idea. So I take it from the point of opportunity. So the question I asked you guys from the beginning is the same question over here. What is the opportunity you've seen? And then solutions. Now, I talk about target profile, because I realize if you don't understand your target, if you don't understand your customers, then you will be designing something that is going to be missed. And then I noticed also that there was a breakdown in understanding market and being able to do market research. Business, it's about problem, solution, and understanding the market. If you miss any of that, unfortunately, you just be doing what they call a hobby. And there's nothing wrong with it. Some people love to do their hobbies. That's fine. And so the market promise, again, is your promise to the customers. And if you've never thought about what is my market promise, please take time to get a market promise. Medium is how you're going to reach the customers. And market validation, remember we talked about market validation as being the third component of testing to see how good your business idea is. So that's what market validation is. The bottom part almost stays the same. So the first one is revenue stream. Now, the question I put over there, and this is how I want you to look at it, it says, what various ways can you sustain your idea? Now, I want to take my time on this one because this makes a whole lot of difference. Now, some years ago, I did a project with UG, and the project was called 3-Day Startup. So we had 40 students that we recruited to start a tech company in 3 days. It was really exciting. The students loved it. This was, I think, it was like 2012 or something. It was some years ago. 2012, some years ago. Now, there's a young man that started his business as a result of it. So I followed up years later, and he told me he's no longer doing the business. Why is that? He said he got married, he graduated from school, life happened. And so he had to get a job. And what that taught me, and what I realized is that if you're doing a business and the sole purpose of that business is so that you can feed yourself, then recognize that that's what it is. And when you find yourself in that state, know that it is very hard to build a business in that state, because it's like you can't plant and eat the seed at the same time. But the reality on the ground is sometimes you are in that situation. And I want us to be honest with ourselves and recognize what situation you're in. So one question I always ask my client is this your sole source of income? Is this the only way you're able to feed yourself? If this is the only way you're able to feed yourself, then what they call your trail or your runway is going to be a lot longer, because you have to feed yourself and try and build. And it's not an easy place. And I know a lot of you may find yourself in there because you're doing this business because you need to feed yourself. So recognize that, okay? And ask yourself, what various way can I sustain myself? And the last component is prototyping. So prototyping is looking at my business as to what it is that I need to actually put a prototype together. So those are the 3 business. Now, here are some questions that I want us to work on it together as I bring my presentation to a close. And this is summarizing what a business model canvas is. So it helps you know what is your business, how do you do your business, who your business customers are, and how to reach them. And the last is, how does your business generate idea? All the various different model canvases I showed you, in a nutshell, this is what it's trying to do. What is the business? How do you do the business? Who are you doing the business for? And how you generate income. Okay, so that is, if you missed any of the other canvases that I spoke about, this is all the business canvas is all about, all summarized into these 4 areas. Oh, thank you, Prosper. I really like that. Cool. I'm glad you find it very practical. Okay, so here is my last question to you guys. And it says, I am in the business of, and I want you guys to complete it. Okay, so this one will give a few minutes. Abdul says, thank you as well. Thank you for your attention. So I want you guys to complete the sentence for me. I'm in the business of ... So you start that. So someone says, I'm in the business of web development. Okay. I'm in the business of education. I'm in the business of beauty and health. The greatest presentation I've ever had. Oh, thank you. Kofi says, I'm in the business of advertising. iPhone says, I'm in the business of farming. Okay, I'm in the business. Hey, I've had an Dawson. Hey, meet me kind. Hey, Pope, Mr. Obabwamio. Okay. Providing services. Hey, Master, I can't read that fast, though, Charlie. Agro of businesses, health. Okay, this is massive. Photography and videography. Beautiful. Now, here is one last thing that I'll give to you. When you look at what you guys have written. I'm in the business of. The last thing that I want you to is take that very statement and ask yourself, where is the emotions behind it? Where is the emotion behind it? Because people do not buy things, they actually buy emotions. So when it's all said and done, like you guys saying, great presentations. Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so glad you guys like the presentation. But I want you to ask yourself honestly, what's the emotion behind it? So if you say you're in Momo business, what really are you doing? Behind everything, there's an emotion. If we can put a finger on that emotion, that'll make the difference between you just doing business and you excelling in your business. With that done, thank you guys so very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the Q&A section and let's continue this chat. So at this time, I'll hand it over to Mr. Stephen or Pope. And
John. Oh, John.
John.
Yeah, John is a moderator. John.
Yes. Thank you, Mami Sewa. That was a great presentation. And I'm happy that we have resounding feedback from our audience who are also had a very great interaction with you. Very grateful to you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'll actually open the floor so that we can zoom in directly and specifically to questions that you have on your mind with regards to the presentation that Mami Sawa has delivered so brilliantly for us. So the floor is opened. If we can zoom in straight to the questions, and then we'll be able to pick it up. Mami, I'll be happy
if Pope can actually enable them to speak up, like they can come live to speak to ask their question, that will also be great than to text.
Okay. So if you put your hand up, I'm sure that our technical team will see you and then give you the access to unmute and then share your question with us. Kindly go straight to the point so that we can allow as many questions as possible to come through for us. So the floor is opened. If you have a question in mind, please put up your hand. We'll quickly identify you and then we'll give you the opportunity to go ahead and ask your questions. That said, if you still are comfortable with typing, no problem. Just type your question into the chat area. I will read it out and then Mami Sewa will take up and give us a response to the question. So
How about the questions in the Q&A? I think there's some questions in the Q&A. Do you want to tackle those and then we go to the chat?
Yes. So what I can see is the chat. Do you have access to the Q&A directly?
Yes. So in the Q&A,
Go
it
ahead.
says, can a business idea succeed by mainly rebranding or redesigning an existing solution without providing a unique value proposition or solving a distinct customer problem? Well, hey, I'm not a party pooper, so I'm not going to say no. However, if you want to go far, then you want to make sure that you're adding value. The whole thing about business is value addition. And so just taking something and rebranding, and look, you see this a lot in Ghana. Somebody is doing something, they take it, and then they just put another label on it, masa. It will work, but it only works in a short while. Let's challenge ourselves to build businesses that will last generations and not just today. Prosper says, what will be your advice on starting a new business, sole proprietorship or partnership due to inadequate funding from the side of the sole proprietor? That's an interesting question. I remember when I called my dad and I told my dad I was starting a business. He asked me, was I sure? And I was very honestly, I was kind of crushed because I was like, what do you mean is that? Am I sure? I was like, don't you have your own business? You should be happy because your daughter wants to start a business. But he said if he had to start over, he would start not on his own, but with someone else. Again, it becomes a decision that you have to make. The other advice I was given was any decision you have to live with, you have to make that decision. You can go for an advice looking at everything, but if you're doing partnership for the sole purpose of funding, I would say look at it closely because there's a whole lot of clause. So look at it as to what it is that you have to gain and what you have to lose because you are giving something up in order to receive that funding. And make sure that when it comes to partnership, it's all about trust And can you trust this person? And what can you put in place to ensure that you're able to do this? Abigail says, I'm in the business of education. Thank you, Abigail. Okay, we have, should X with a solid business idea and technical expertise partner with Y to handle management and deal making, or should X invest time and effort in developing their own management skills, potential dealing the project's progress? Another fantastic question. The bottom line and the truth of it, and I use my personal life. So when it comes to business, honestly, I still struggle when it comes to handling the money. That challenge that I had at the age of 16, I'm still plagued with it. It's about recognizing where your strengths and your weaknesses are. And when you recognize that these are what your area of weakness, the question you honestly have to ask yourself is, what are you willing to let go of? Because if you're bringing somebody in, they coming in to take that, but you have to be honest with yourself. What are you willing to let go? Is there anything wrong with it? Absolutely not. But you have to be truly, truly honest with yourself. Okay. It is always good to leverage on other people, but there has to be that understanding, clear understanding as to this is what it is. Usually when you're starting out, because you are new to the whole game, you end up having to do everything by yourself. But as you grow, you realize you can't do everything by yourself. That's how team building comes in. So you have to look at what kind of skill set do I need to be able to build up. Building a business is not all about you being able to do everything, but it's being able to lead the group so that they can be able to accomplish a goal. Okay, so we starting out, you may have to be doing everything, but think about how best can I build a team. Prophet says, I appreciate if you could give me the privilege of being my mentor through the entrepreneur journey. I will have a discussion with Jen and we'll see how we can get a mentorship program going. I think they already should. So we'll have a conversation about that. Ways to validate the idea, if only by questionnaire. So I mentioned going out to actually physically talk to people. Ghana, we are shy people, but Charlie, this one there is business. So you have to put the shy away and go out there and really talk to people. That's the best way to be able to validate your idea. And the thing is, be careful who you're talking to, okay? I don't know if this is good English, who you're talking to. But the reason why I say that is, remember we talked about market segment, customer segmentation. Take your time and understand market segment. So who are the people that you've identified, and make sure that the people you're talking to are those people that fit that market profile or your customer profile. If not, you'll be talking to the wrong person. Like I said, if somebody's thirsty and you give them food, they're going to reject the food, but it doesn't mean that your food is bad. It just means the person wants water and you're giving them the wrong thing. Okay, so make sure you're talking to the right person. Okay, it says, please, can you talk about how to get funding to start a business? Okay, so Ghana is a whole different ecosystem, a whole different ball game. The quickest way I can recommend is look for organizations, development organizations that are doing projects that target startups. Some of them have grants component of it. Some of them have loan component to it. That is one way that you can look to fund your business when you're starting. So look at developmental partners. Let's see, I have a business idea, but not the funds and equipment to execute. So that will be the same thing as well. Look for these developments. It says, can I lend my ideas to a capable production company and make a profit in the meantime as prepare? Again, take a look at contracting, because the contract is actually what will protect you. Because if you don't do the contracting well, you actually can lose out on everything. So make sure that you're checking the contracting and have a lawyer help you with that one. Says, how do one concentrate with academics and business on campus? Any advice? That's a tricky one. Again, it comes down to why you're doing the business and why you are even in the school in the first place. In anything and everything, the end goal, you are there to learn something. You're not there to also distract yourself. So make sure that what it is, your end goal, you want to get a degree, you want to get an education. You want to also, not just an education, but you also want to enrich yourself. So what are those things? That's what should be the one that drives you. And so as to, if you recognize that the business, especially if you have so many customers that are pulling you away from your academics, you have to advise yourself. And again, as I said, any advice that you have to live with for the rest of your life, you need to own that advice, no matter what anybody says. And then the last one I have is paying yourself in the business, as they always say. How do you practicalize that as a young entrepreneur so you don't end up spending into your business money? Fantastic. So yes, they always say pay yourself, but Charlie, when you're starting, you're paying yourself. No? You haven't even covered expenses, then you're paying yourself. It's a kind of, what do they call it? Catch, like a chicken and an egg situation. Okay. Now, this is how you can do this. Make sure that you're actually working with a budget. So what is the business budget? And in the budget, put yourself in. So again, my life experience. When I started my business, because I did not understand finance, the concept of it. So it's like, oh, okay, so I have a client, the client has paid me, and you're saying that the money is not my money because I have to pay taxes on it and I can't just take the money and chop the money. I didn't understand this. So for a whole entire year, I never spent a single peso from the business account. What I know is you have to have a business account and you have a personal account. So I was living off on my personal account. My business account, I couldn't touch it because I was afraid, because I have to pay taxes and I have to do all this thing and I don't understand it. The following year was when I finally understood, oh, okay, the business generates a certain amount of income, which needs to cover the business expenses. So what are my business expenses? So I had to sit down and put those things together. Okay, so if I cover the business expense, what is left afterwards is my profit. Now, here's the thing. After you've covered the business expenses, what is left is zero. Master, you don't have money. So that tells you that you need to now either do something different to challenge yourself to either bring in more income so that after you've covered expenses, then you can have that. Now, the thing about it is, if you can put yourself as part of the expenses, so that from the beginning, you're looking at your business. Again, that's why I said business in numbers. Look at your business from that perspective. Sometimes when I talk to folks, they're like, oh, I want to pay myself this amount of money. That's nice and beautiful, but it needs to trickle down as to the business it is that you're doing. So the product or service you have. So if you want to make this amount of money, and I remember telling my godmother, I was like, I want to make $1 million in this year. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, how are you going to do it? Now there's a different question. All I know is I want $1 million. So same thing, you can want $1 million, but you have to work yourself backwards and see how it is that you can actually get that. And can you price your product or services in such a way that you are not killing yourself because you overpriced yourself, but you're still competitive enough? So it's a very dicey thing, but it's a good thing to start off with from the beginning. Okay, so I think that was the last question in the Q&A session. So, okay.
There's
Thank
one
you.
more. It's sort of, dovetails into what you just spoke about. Now, David wants to find out, what recommendations do you provide for an individual whose family is a hindrance to the business? In the case that you are schooling while the business is at home and the family is squandering and collapsing it.
Hey, okay, so
David, Mommy, do you want me to answer that?
please go ahead.
So, David, basically, we can understand. So, as Mami Sawadip said, it's all about sometimes like the structures. So, in your business model canvas, if you're able to do that, what are the structures that you have in place in the business that can sort of avoid this sort of spillages in happening? So, if you have family at home, that's why sometimes when you're doing businesses, it's like you have to separate yourself from the business or the family from the business. You get what I mean? Let me give a story typically. I remember when I was in junior secondary school in Archimota School, a friend of mine, mom's owned one of the biggest supermarket at that time around Achimota going to the where they used to have the New Plant station. It used to be a very big supermarket. So when we said we're short of food or something, we need something, we go to his mom's supermarket and we'll go and see his mom with my friend. The mom will actually give him money that go into the store, sorry, and pay. You understand? So he pays for it. In otherwise, that will not allow the employees who are working in the supermarket to say that, oh, your son was here to pick biscuit and needle and cornflakes to school. Do you get what I mean? Even though maybe the son hasn't been there. So he gets the people at the shop to become accountable for everything that is in store. The only time I believe we don't pay money for stuff is when the mom actually get them to open the warehouse for them to take stuff from the warehouse and give it to us to take it to school with him. So these are some of the things that I'll say that I really kind of realized at that point that the mother has been able to put those stop gaps in places to minimize losses. So whether it's family or friend, they say, well, business do well when family and friends pay. You understand what I mean? That's what you need to try and do to put those things in place. And I think you'll be fine with it. I've been so intrigued as well by this session. And one area I want to also add up to folks listening is that this business model canvas that Mami Sewa has taken us through, we've all learned. I see that it's not just really about you starting business that you need it. Even when you've been employed and like in certain businesses or certain corporations, they have product design, product innovation department, and all that stuff. These are the same processes that are being used, to be able to come out with product, how the product is going to work on the market and all that. So if you're being hired as a business development manager or business growth associate or anything, you can use the same principles in applying in your field of work, whether you are an employee, not only for entrepreneurs. So I don't want everyone on this webinar to think that this information or knowledge that has been shared is for just people who want to start business. Even people who are working as employees can be able to apply these same principles that has been taught today in their daily work, wherever they are and they find themselves. And that will also help also put a spotlight onto them and bring impact and productivity to the organization which they belong to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you for I will take that as a closing comment, or probably I'll give you the opportunity again. If there are some special announcements that will have to be made, I'll give you the floor. But let me say thank you again to my Miss Sawa for that wonderful presentation. And then I need to say thank you to our audience. Very interactive. Thank you for speaking your thoughts or sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you for all the amazing questions you asked. And it's a great sign for us that, yes, you are really determined to go through the entire process to ensure that you are ready. By the time you are graduating from school, you clearly know what it is you want to do with yourself. So thank you again for your participation and for staying through throughout this meeting. I would encourage you, as we did for the last seminar, if you have any thoughts or any feedback, you can actually share it on social media and then tag the various stakeholders in this conversation. We'll do that on the page just to give you the link so that from there you can actually pick it up from there, and then you can go ahead and then share your thoughts with the rest of the world. Stephen, if you have any closing comments or announcements, we'll give you the opportunity now to do it so that we can run up for today.
Okay, before I give my last closing remarks, I think Mami Sawa has got a live slides that's going to share, and after that, we'll give the announcement of the things that we have in place to let the audience know. All right, so yeah, I think as you can see on the screen, it's on this giving us your feedback on the scale of how you rate the presentation. All right, to that. So I think Pope is going to share one feedback form right now. So Pope, if you're listening to us, can you add that to that form right now, and share the form right now here on the chat with the participant right now, and I'll have it. And guys, I'll also put that onto our WhatsApp group that we have, and we want to encourage everybody to feel that, for us to be able to have it. Guys, thank you so much for being on this. As I said earlier, we have 1,024 people officially that have registered for Skill Up for Jobs Bootcamp 2024, sorry. And yes, we have people really kind of coming up to this webinars. We want the participation of the webinars to be more, because there's a knowledge that you're gaining very here that is really going to optimize a lot of things for you when you come and learn the practical skills, that you can see value for this. I know, look, your students, most of the time, people have got other things to do and stuff like that. So, but I think we should just sacrifice ourselves to ensure that these 2 hours of our time, for these sessions is very, very, very important and key. Take this as something that is precious to you. So we want to encourage you, help us to be able to get more people participating in it. And I said, a webinar is open to all students within the University of Ghana can join. Okay. And I think in a due course will be announced. We've already announced the various sessions. We shared you the schedules that are on there. We want you as well, like we said the other day. After that, go back to the Gen page, your SLC pages that you have on social media. Share your feedback of this session, what you have learned from that. Mami Sawa is on social media. All right, Mami Sawa, if you can share your links on social media, yes, it's there on the slide. Yeah, you can share that with her on that, and then you should be also to know how you appreciate this session with that. And the audience out there, like we said, we want them people to know how impactful this has been for you, or how relevant these courses have been for you. So as many as possible, as much as possible, many as you can, go there and give us your candid feedback about how these sessions have really, really impacted on you. I think Pop-Ups just sent the form. I don't know if you've seen the form. Can you just give us thumbs up? If you've seen the feedback form on it. All right. So we'll encourage you all that, yes, you should go ahead right now and start putting information to it. Pop will do another one for Gary, the one we did last a few days ago, last Friday. He's going to share that one as well with you. Gary is keen. He's looking forward for this feedback from you. So Pop will put the same one specifically for the entrepreneurial mindset, and he'll share that with you what you to do. The video that we recorded for it is ready. We'll share that on the YouTube channel for you to watch it as when you want to do. Mami Sewa, we want to find out with your permission. If you're interested, the student, they normally want to listen to this video back that they want. Is it possible that, okay, we can share the video with them to read it? Okay, big ups. Mami Sewa, it's great for us to do that. So we'll share the video with you again, and you'll be able to sort of listen to it and stuff for this. So we wish you all the best, and we want to thank you once again. Thank you all the technical team, John, Mami Sewa, we appreciate you for your time. Pope, we thank you. Julius from Gen Ghana, we thank you for being on there to help. All the supporting partners, we also want to thank the Dean of Students Office for supporting the SRC president and the leadership of the Chiquitas administration for all their help and ensuring that this program is moving on successfully. We are very, very grateful. And Gen Ghana precisely is very, very grateful to partner with you guys to bring this scale up for JOS Bootcamp to University of Ghana. And all internal UG stakeholders who are supporting this program in any other forms that they can, and external partners that are supporting. We thank you all once again. John, if you have anything that you want to add, you can do that, then we can bring this into a closure. Thank you.
Yes, Stephen, you said it all. Thank you all for your participation, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next session. Kindly pay attention to the WhatsApp page. We'll give you further details on the upcoming session so that you can adequately prepare yourself. Mami Sewa, wonderful presentation once again. Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye and have a lovely week, you guys all. Bye.